Today we're going to make chocolate fudge sauce. And we're going to start by chopping up 3 squares of chocolate. These are unsweetened squares. I'm going to chop them pretty fine. I line them up. Take out those little guys that didn't get quite chopped. Gotta keep your fingers out. Okay, very good. Okay, now we're going to put the chocolate into a bowl, along with 1/4 of a cup of water and a tablespoon of, 2 tablespoons, of butter. And we're going to microwave that until it's melted, because it really does save time. So I'm just going to give it a minute. Okay, we're going to give this a stir. It may just be fine. Just want to get it started. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put some evaporated milk into our pot on the stove. Okay. It's 2/3 of a cup. So, and this is not brain surgery, so. Put it on a very low flame while you're mixing ingredients, and we'll add a cup of sugar. Okay. And our salt, which is 1/4 of a teaspoon salt. Then we're going to add the chocolate. Actually, let's wait for the chocolate. Let's let this get a little bit warmed up. Then we'll add the chocolate. Okay. Got a little chocolate in there, but it'll be fine. Not to worry. So we're going to add the chocolate now. And it looks a little lumpy, but this is the chocolate and the butter and the water. But this is the reason why it looks so awful, is because it has the water in it. You never really should mix water and chocolate, but in this recipe, I want you to. So first I'm going to give it a stir with the whisk spoon. Just get it a little bit incorporated. And then I'll show you the secret to getting really a smooth sauce. Using one of these wire whisks, and just stir with that until it all gets in there. When I first used to make this a long time ago, it looked very weird at first, but now it almost looks regular now. But this still really does help to reincorporate it if it's looking a little bit like it's separating. Okay. You don't want to use this the whole time, because you really want to use a flat wooden spoon to get into the corners, and not really let it just simmer. And it really only cooks for about 3 minutes. Want to let it, make sure it's all incorporated nicely, and then just let it come to a simmer. Actually, you can let it come up to a boil and then bring it down to a simmer. Stirring occasionally, because it will burn if you don't, especially in the corners. The way you can tell this is done, okay, is you bring your plate over, just put a little bit on the plate, and then you can do that every so often to compare how it sits up. One time I used a candy thermometer and I can't remember what it came to, but really if you just do this it's fine. This is just fudge sauce. Bring it down a little bit. You want it to boil because you want that water to come out of it. That's what helps to thicken it up. It's probably good enough to eat right now, but I usually just play with it a little bit. Usually I make about 5 or 6 recipes of this at a time. Don't ask me why. But must be a good reason. Okay. Looks like the surface of the moon in there. Well, it's hard to tell the difference, but there is. Okay. Now, when you eat this on ice creams and fruit or something, it's going to thicken up because there's no way you could eat it this hot, so it's really hard to tell what it's going to be like. I think this is done. Okay. All done. I think it's sitting up a little better. It's going to be a little thicker than that when you put it on ice cream. Now the last step, and I like to let this cool just for a moment, is I'll add some vanilla. You add quite a bit of vanilla, so you want to make sure you use good vanilla. That looks wonderful. I like to wait till it cools a little bit so I can keep that alcohol in there. Don't want it to boil off. And at this point you can really do anything you like. You can add a little bit of instant coffee that's just made into liquid with very little bit of water to make it a mocha flavor. And remember, when I add these 2 teaspoons of vanilla, it's going to be a little thinner. So you want to thicken it up a little more than maybe you want. But you don't want to have to boil it down after this. Well, that looks beautiful. Okay, it's all done. You could also possibly add some amaretto. Whatever you like. Okay. And I'm putting it into these glass bowls because you can microwave these glass bowls. And when you heat this up, you want to heat it up very slow in the microwave. Okay? For like 30 seconds at a time and give it a stir with the rubber scraper. Okay, so that's our fudge sauce.